I'm O from the Wever team, and today I'm going to show you how to get what you want out of Wever. So, what exactly is Wever? Wever is a document question and answering application. Essentially, what it is, I assume you've used ChatGPT. You can ask it questions, and it will return answers for you, but not just any kind of answer, an answer based on the documents that you gave it. So it's effectively creating your own person who knows everything that you need it to know about whatever specific topic that you want it to know about. So, in a sense, it's better than ChatGPT for your very specific workflows. So, when you log in the first time, this is the first page that you'll see. This will be the main page that you regularly interact with, where you come and ask it questions. So, when you ask a question as it is, say for example, what are the laws surrounding firearm ownership in Botswana? Don't worry about your spelling, it'll understand. So when you use it as it is, without any collections having been selected, collections being documents that you have uploaded, which we'll show you how to do later. What essentially it'll do is it'll behave just like ChatGPT. That is, it'll not actually give you a response entirely based on your documentation, but rather will give you a response based on the information that it can find from the internet as well as its own training data. As you can see, it's telling you general stuff that aren't, to be honest, not that useful. However, if we now use a collection, which I must emphasize, if you want a collection, please, you must come and click select a collection and select a collection that contains any documentation that is useful to you. So in my case, the collection that contains the data I want can be found under the secondary legislation. And I can ask that same question. What are the laws surrounding firearm ownership? And now what we will see when you ask it these set of questions, it's now going to base its answer on what you gave it. So not on what it was trained, not on what it could find on the internet, but specifically on the documents that you gave it. Basically, it's now like having your own specific professional firearm ownership knowing guy. And as you can see here, it'll discuss the legal frameworks directly from the Arms and Ammunition Act, the general requirements, the application process, storage and security, temporary permits. And if you want to be confident, where did it get this information to know that it's not hallucinating or lying, you can specifically view the references. And as you can see, it directly states where it got any of the information that it had. This one's referencing the form. Below here, you can see once again that the Arms and Ammunition Act, and so on and so forth. Now, when you get to Wever, you likely won't have any documents, obviously. So what you have to do is you have to come and actually create your own set of documents that you would like to have. So here's your document collection. It will show any documents that you currently have. If you don't have any, you come and you form a new collection, which you can define by whatever varying name. Say in the case of Trust Design, which I already made. As you can see, Trust Design here. Once you have a document collection that's been made, you can upload any documentation that you want, so long as it's a PDF and under a size of 250 megabytes. These are the documents that the application actually uses to base its answers off of. Now we also have our curated collections. These are collections that the team believes are general use case and will generally benefit most people who use the application. So it will be built up over time. So don't worry about these. They're effectively made by the firm. And we also have our share request. A share request is where if you have a set of documents that you have and you'd actually like to share them with other people, say, let's say you have a team and you guys actually, your marketing team, for example, and you want to share, you can find who they are. If they're using the app, you can just type in their name and then you can share this document collection with them as well. Now, I want to show you something beyond firearms to show that this is not just useful, say, for creating the law. Let's say I am a digital marketer, and let's say I sell skincare products. I might ask, how should I curate my messaging for my skincare line? Let's say you've been given a set of policies by your chief marketing officer, or maybe these are just a set of frameworks that you personally like to use as a marketer. You can directly now go and ask. So as you can see, it tells you want to consider who your audience and your niche might be, what your unique value proposition is, to craft relatable human messaging, and so on and so forth. And once again, you can view the references that it pulled all of this from. So let's say that your CMO expects you to use a certain framework when you do craft your skincare ads. Now you can know you're compliant with whatever your CMO wants. But let's say you are someone who works in trust design, and perhaps you have an issue where you don't necessarily know what you need to do under certain conditions. For example, what are the factors that affect design in very windy environments? And so once again, what it's going to do, it'll go through your entire documents, line by line, and find the most relevant pieces within the document that are relevant to the question that you asked it. Basically, just the same way you think or the same way a human being thinks. If I ask you what your name is, you know that, oh, I must go into my brain and bring back, obviously, my name. It effectively does the same thing. And as you can see here, geographic location, you should get the basic wind speed for design would depend heavily on your building's location, the height above the ground, the kind of exposure category, the building use and its occupancy, and so on and so forth. Now, mind you, you can continue querying from this standpoint. So let's say you wanted to ask it, let's go, let's go with this exposure category. What is an A exposure category? And what we'll do once again, go through your document collection and find the relevant points within the documents that are specific to your question. So as you can see, exposure category A is not a standard designation in modern wind design codes. However, you actually do have B, C, and D, where B is typical for urban and suburban areas, C is open terrain, and D is flat, unobstructed areas. So you can be confident that whatever it brings back to you is actually specific to the documentation that you gave it. Now, my question to you is, where do you go from here? You have the option in which you can continue to read through documents line by line, and that takes a very long time, and you may be prone to making errors, you can get distracted. Or you can have a scenario where you can simply get exactly what you want, when you want, and you're confident that it is under the guidelines that you expect it to be in. This is Weaver, and I expect you to make the right choice. Thank you.